Hello, I'm Dr. Dave Gentile, and thank you for tuning in to North Hempstead's TV Senior Meals Program. We are broadcasting here from the North Hempstead Yes We Can Community Center in Newcastle. It's the third regional Aging in Place conference hosted by the Town of North Hempstead's Project Independence and Town Supervisor Judi Bosworth. So thanks for being here today. I'm Dr. Dave. I am a board-certified diplomat physician and a chef. So what I want to really do today is introduce you to some simple ways to cook and prepare and get the most nutrition out of very easily, readily available ingredients. So today we're going to kind of do a little bit of a Mexican theme. We're going to have grilled chicken, which we're going to serve with beautiful avocados. We're going to do a little onion. We're going to do some vine-ripened tomatoes, and we're going to do it in a nice like lemon, lime, cumin dressing. So let's talk about the different ingredients and why they're important. So first off, avocados. One's thought to be just a fattening, quote-unquote, fruit and or vegetable, however you want to categorize it. It's a monounsaturated fat. It's got vitamin E. It's got great minerals, potassium. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. It really does do well with even replacing mayonnaise, for example. You can make a guacamole, or you can just even take an avocado and smash it down and spread it instead of mayonnaise. It's a great thing to do. Now, the other nice thing with avocados is there are different types. When you buy an avocado, just press it a little bit. It shouldn't compress too much, but it should be a little soft. Otherwise, you won't be able to get it out. Often during the day when I'm seeing patients, I'll just cut an avocado up, go into the kitchen, slice it up, a little lemon, olive oil, salt and pepper, and that becomes my lunch. So it's a nice thing to do. The grilled chicken is a very lean protein. As everybody knows, chicken tends to be one of the proteins we talk about quite often because it is lean. If you can, you get free range, organic, and things like that. There is a benefit to that, but still, if you're using chicken, it's a lean, clean protein. Now, the vine-ripened tomatoes, the reason I love those is the flavor is just so much more abundant, okay? They haven't been sitting and waiting to get ripe. They were ripened on the actual vine. So when you look at a vine-ripened tomato, as my girlfriend from Britain would say, these are literally cut right off of the stems. They are much more flavorful. The vitamin C is very high. Now, there's also lycopene and lutein, okay, L-U-T-E-I-N. These are very important nutrients that we need. So I highly recommend you get some tomatoes into your diet. Now, the only time somebody shouldn't have tomatoes is if they're on what they call a nightshade-free diet. So for some of my patients who have osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, aches and pains, some of them do well with what we call a nightshade-free diet, and that would be taking out eggplant, potato, peppers, tomatoes, etc. So that's not for everybody. It only makes sense if you do have a problem that would do well with avoiding your nightshades. So let's get started. When I cook, I always want to make sure I have a nice clean environment. Everything's been pre-washed, everything's out. Try to cook with friends and family whenever possible to make it an interesting process. So we're going to make this very simple. This is more or less a lunch type item, but you can do it for dinner as well. So we're going to get one of our grilled chicken cutlets, which were pre-grilled, and just slice. Now when you slice, always go across the grain. So chicken has a grain. Now if you cut it on a bias, it even gives it a nicer presentation. So I'm going to go cross grain on the bias. Now if this was raw chicken, I would not be using this here. I would have done all my prep with my vegetables first, wash the chicken, pat it dry, bring it to the cutting board, use it, cut it, cook it, and then clean down the board with like a water and bleach combination. So I'm using a chef cleaver, which makes cutting very simple. You should have as many different knives as you're comfortable using in your kitchen. So what we're going to do here is kind of just reassemble the cutlet so it just looks nice. I'm going to put that right into the middle of our plate. Okay. Now, with the avocado, I'm going to pick one I think is going to work the best, this one here. So cut right down to the seed, and what you do is roll the avocado around, and then if all works well, doesn't always work well. If I want to embarrass myself, it wouldn't have, right? So it did. So here you have a cup, and you have this one with the seed. So what you can do is hit it with like that, and it comes out. So we'll get rid of that, or we can play golf with that later. All right. So, avocado, simple, simple, simple. If you're going to slice it, try to be really easy taking it out. If you're going to make guacamole or something, who cares? Mash it out. So just put your spoon in, run it right to the skin, come right around and watch. Boom. Okay? Now, avocado will oxidize, as would a banana and things like that. So if you notice, we're using lemon and lime not just for flavor, but it protects from the oxidation. Lemon and lime are obvious to most people as being high in vitamin C. Back in the day of the ship coming over from England, they called the sailors what? Limeys. Why did they call them limeys? Because they were getting scurvy, which is a vitamin C deficiency. So they gave them limes to suck on, and voila, no more scurvy. So let's cut this up. Okay. And you could also use a chef knife, which I didn't bring today. I don't want to bring too many different knives with me. Okay. So let's get that fanned out on the plate too. Okay. Just kind of fan that out nice and gentle. And I definitely am a fond user of herbs and spices, not just for flavor, but the herbs create a nice, beautiful color that we really want to get in all the dishes that we prepare, okay? So let's move on here. We're going to put a little lemon over this in a minute, a little lime, and we're going to put a tomato down as well. I'm going to show you how to make a tomato rose, which is a real cute way to impress your friends, super easy since we have a little time to do that on the show. So with the tomato, I like to always go cross grain with that, and we're going to just cut it nice and thinly down. And then we're going to plate these up around here like so. And I'm going to show you how to make a tomato rose, which we're going to put right on top, which is a great way to entertain as well. So it doesn't matter like if you're doing a cheese platter or what have you. So what you do is you take the bottom part of that, and what we're going to do is you're going to cut, make sure you have a sharp knife. You cut a little bit of a base like so, okay? And then what we do is now you're going to start cutting what we consider the petal. And you're just going right along the inside of the tomato skin. And wait till you see how cool this looks. So tomatoes, you get your fiber, you get your protein, vitamin C, lutein, lycopene, everything you need. And being Italian, I certainly love a tomato. And once the season is over, I try not to buy tomatoes fresh anymore because they just don't taste good to me. Okay, so what we do there is you take that base, keep that on the bottom, and you're going to just turn this inside out and roll. So watch what we get, presto, changeo. Now sometimes what I'll use with this is celery. The leaves that come off the celery make a beautiful, beautiful kind of like floral arrangement on the bottom. So there's your rose. I mean, that is super, super easy, correct? Look at that, boom. So now what I want to do is we're going to put a little chopped onion down. Eye appeal is everything. I mean, if you make a dish and you throw it on a plate, it is going to look like a dish thrown together. So let's take that out of the culinary vocabulary of throwing it together and let's create something. It's very relaxing cooking. I mean, I look forward to coming home at night and cooking. Some people would say I would prefer somebody to cook for me. But for me, it's therapy, and I'll cook with my loved ones. We will create dishes together, which is very important. Okay, so just put a little chopped onion around here. Everybody has their own preferences. And one of the things you can do with chopped onion, too, is if you don't like that bite, you can put it in a china cap similar to this or a strainer. Rinse it under cold water. It gets rid of some of that sulfur bite. One of the things I love about onions, garlic, and that whole family is that it has alicillin in it. Alicillin is antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal. When I was in medical school, I used to eat 2 garlic cloves raw a day. I don't recommend doing that. It does definitely cause a little bad breath issue, but I do fresh parsley with it. I never got sick. I was, training 18 hours a day, popped the garlic, and it worked for me. So we're going to put some fresh parsley in here as a garnish. And everything that you see here has been pre-washed. So let's make this look like a rose, right? Something like that. This is cilantro, which I really just love the taste of. Cilantro is actually a chelating agent. It takes heavy metals and toxins out of the body, so that's a great thing. So let's move on, and we're going to put a little bit of a lemon, a little bit of a lime. Now, lemon's great in salads in lieu of vinegar. So some people can have fermented products, such as mustard and vinegars and wine for whatever reason. Maybe they have a candida overgrowth or something like that, so I'll have them stay away from fermented. Now you get the acidity that you would have had with the vinegar with the lemon and lime. I like cumin or cumino. Just gonna put a little bit of that on there. And what would anything be without a little pepper and a little olive oil? Okay. I swear sometimes I would probably bathe in olive oil if I had the opportunity. Okay. I only use the extra virgin cold press olive oil. That's important to try to do. So when you're playing with your plate, just it's like a big palette. It's like a painter's palette. So what you try to do here is get creative. So here's a plate, very simple, beautiful to make, easy, couple of minutes, you're done. Okay? There you have it. So we have a couple minutes before the show's over. Will I get any questions from the audience?
What's the difference between the lemon and the lime?
They're super close relatives. There are subtle differences in flavor, so I like to actually mix the two frequently. So I'll use the lemon and the lime pretty much 1-to-1. Sometimes I'll use, like if I'm making guacamole, I'll use 3 limes for about 3 avocados, and I'll use 1 lemon. So the lime has a little bit of a different, fuller flavor, I think, for especially Mexican food. Thank you for watching. For more information on the town of North Hempstead's Project Independence, please call 311 or log on to northhempsteadny.gov.